Hey, thanks everyone for joining me on this November 13th, 2023. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show. We're streaming live right now, YouTube and on Rumble, rumble.com/coffeenuance/live. You might want to bookmark that because who knows, I may only be streaming on one platform soon. So might want to keep that in mind. But today we got something really fun to talk about. Let's get the right picture. There we go. Let's talk about the recent San Francisco cleanup, shall we? Or as I like to call it, the Xi Jinping makeover. You know, when a city decides to spruce up its act, not for its own residents, no, but for a visit from the Chinese president. It's like when you clean your apartment because your parents are coming over. Suddenly, everything looks pristine, and you're left wondering, why don't I do this more often? Governor Gavin Newsom, he spilled the beans. He admitted they did it to make a good impression on important leaders. Well, thank you, Captain Obvious. It's as if they've been playing hide and seek with the homeless population, and now that Xi Jinping is it, they decided to clean up the mess. It's a bit like a national embarrassment makeover. But Newsom claims this isn't just a one-night stand on cleanliness. No, they've supposedly raised the bar of expectation. Really? Bar was so low, even a slug in San Francisco couldn't limbo under it. Now suddenly they've set it higher because Xi Jinping is swinging by. It's like redecorating your place for a party and convincing yourself it's now the permanent look. Yeah. Let's not kid ourselves, folks. This isn't just a San Francisco problem. Portland, Oregon, my home, looks like it's auditioning for the Walking Dead spinoff. We got cities across the country resembling zombie apocalypses, and you know what? It's not because the government can't do something about it. It's a choice. It's a conscious decision. It's almost like they're treating us citizens like we're in a dystopian reality show. Hey, let's keep things messy for drama, and when the important guests arrive, we'll hit the reset button. Well, I say enough with this theatrical cleanup act. We're not living in a reality show. This is our reality, and we deserve better. So here's the deal, government. If you can turn a city from Skid Row into Rodeo Drive in a New York minute for a summit, you can damn well address the issues plaguing our streets regularly. It's not a matter of capability, it's a matter of priorities. And excuse me if I don't buy the whole raised expectations spiel. No, we're not asking for miracles, just consistent effort. Folks, let's stop treating our cities like movie sets where we tidy up for the VIPs. It's time we demand a real makeover that lasts longer than a presidential visit. Because if our leaders can make it happen when they want to impress someone, it's about time they start impressing us, the people who call these cities home. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Yeah, we can have nice things. Indeed we can. San Francisco cleaned up homeless encampments ahead of Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit for the APEC summit, aiming to create a positive impression. Well, no kidding. Governor Newsom defended the action, citing raised expectations for city streets. Critics question the timing and fear a return to homelessness once the summit concludes. The cleanup is part of efforts to present a clean image during the summit, which is expected to draw significant attendance and revenue. President Biden and Xi Jinping will discuss various global issues, emphasizing maintaining communication between the U.S. and China, among other things. But we know how this is going to go, don't we? Oh, yeah. How many times have we seen this play out before? But that's the thing. It can be nice when they want it to be nice. How about all the time? How about all the time? Impress us, the taxpayers in those cities. I think we could all go for that, couldn't we? So yeah, I just hear over and over and over again, oh, we can't, oh, this is so complicated, oh, we can't do it. But they can do it when somebody important comes to town. Well, yeah. So that is the main thing I wanted to hit on today, but I do have a number of stories to get to today. And I think some of them are fun. Might have some good jokes about them. Who knows? Perhaps. And I'll end with a good story, because we got to have a good story in today's day and age. We need a good story to go out on. And then at the end, stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all your comments on YouTube, comments on Rumble. So I hope you stick around for that. But the first story I want to talk about is we got some interesting poll numbers that just came out recently. Some interesting poll numbers. I don't know if you heard about this. Yeah. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is polling at 22%, which is pretty impressive considering he's getting about 0.22% of the media coverage. It's like the media looked at the polls and said, oh, yikes, there's someone else running? I don't know. Let's just stick to the usual suspects. Yeah. So RFK Jr., independent candidate, polling at 22% in the 2024 presidential race, a level not seen in decades. His support in swing states and the dissatisfaction with major party candidates could impact the election outcome. Could? Yeah. Other non-major party candidates entering the race further highlight voter discontent. Analysts are urged to consider this significant voter sentiment as a potential indicator for the 2024 election direction. So one of the polls that really got me is this New York Times poll here in the graphic. RFK Jr. is leading in 6 battlegrounds among voters 18 to 29. What? Why would you even know this? Considering all the coverage that is done of the major political parties. I mean, the candidate that's leading in the battleground states for young people doesn't even get mentioned typically in the national news. It's kind of crazy. It's as if, I don't know, it seems like the media might be putting their thumb on the scale a little bit. What do you think? If this is the case, he should definitely be getting equal coverage to the other candidates. Of course he should. But he's not. Well, it's not like media coverage could affect a presidential election, could it? No. That's never happened before. So we have nothing to worry about there. I'm sure with all this talk of equity and being fair, this will get fixed in no time. Anyway, Rand Paul has something to say. You know, Rand Paul is convinced Fauci belongs in prison. I agree. It's like he's a detective in a crime drama and Fauci's a subject who just can't keep his story straight. Here it is. Senator Rand Paul is pushing for an accountability against Dr. Anthony Fauci, alleging that Fauci lied to Congress about COVID-19 and gain-of-function research, which he did. Paul has referred Fauci for prosecution, citing conflicting private emails. He aims for either Fauci's accountability or the implementation of a new law regulating such research. Fauci denies the accusations because of course he does. And the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic has also targeted him. Paul asserts recent emails prove Fauci's knowledge of gain of function, predicting it will bring Fauci down. Fauci maintains that Paul misunderstands the situation because that's his defense, I guess. This is interesting, but it's one of those cases that it seems like in this country, it doesn't matter how much evidence there is. It doesn't matter if you have emails. It doesn't matter if you have people admitting things on tape. It doesn't matter if there's mountains of evidence for something. If you are someone that is carrying water for the establishment, it just doesn't seem to matter, does it? It's weird how that works out. It's probably a coincidence, although if you were to run some analysis, it would be like 1-to-1. Is this person supported by the institutions, the permanent institutions of this government? Well, then probably nothing's going to happen to them. You know, that's just kind of how things work out. But I am glad that there is someone that is trying to hold someone accountable that lied to the American people, lied under oath in Congress, lied about gain of function. Someone should hold them accountable. Be nice if we had people from both parties that were, you know, that cared enough about the American people that they want to hold someone accountable that did that. But right now it just looks like it's Rand Paul. Oh well, you know, we got to take what we can get. Our representatives aren't perfect. Far from it, right? Yeah. I think anyone that endangers the lives of Americans, that lies for profit, and that lies to Congress should be in prison. Of course, probably half the House and half the Senate would be in prison if that were the case. So I don't know. No, I'd be for that. I would be for that. You know, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's hold everyone accountable, right? Accountability 2024, right? Anyway, I guess we got some sad news. We need to say bye to someone. We have to say goodbye. So, Tim Scott dropped out of the 2024 GOP primary, saying voters made it clear, not now, Tim. It's like a breakup where America is just not that into you. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina has exited the 2024 GOP presidential primary, citing voter feedback on Fox News. Despite initial momentum, especially in early state polling, Scott faced challenges during the debates and had a high cash burn rate with a $22 million campaign fund. He shifted focus to Iowa in October, but ultimately decided to suspend his campaign. So, well, thanks for being a part of it, Tim. Thanks for being a part of it. But you're no longer needed. I never really took Tim Scott as a serious candidate. Did you? I didn't. And I'm not questioning his motives for running. I think he was sincere in wanting to be president or to help the country. However, I don't think he had some really good campaign advice. He didn't really make any impact at all in any of the 3 debates that have happened. And, you know, if you're a candidate that's polling at less than 1% or whatever, you got to come up with something. Get people excited. And if you can't come up with a zinger or a punchline or something interesting to bring up at a debate to draw attention to yourself, I don't know. There's probably people out there that can help you out with that. But if you just show up to debates and don't really do anything to promote yourself, if you can't get excited about your own campaign, how am I supposed to get excited about your own campaign? Right? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I put more effort into writing these dumb dad jokes for this show than Tim Scott did in preparing for the debates. That's my take on it. I can't remember a single thing he said. So, oh well. Better luck next time, Tim. We'll see you then. If you have any thoughts on that, let me know in the comments, and I look forward to reading those in the after show. But next up, a little hypocrisy alert. Guess I shouldn't even be making these jokes, but apparently now some people have a problem with certain books being appropriate for children. Isn't that what conservatives have been saying for a while now? Kinks and deviant sexual acts are okay for kindergartners, but not the writings of Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1938. Yeah. So here's the story. I'm trying to make light of this. And then Arabic translation of Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf was discovered in a child's bedroom at a Hamas terror base in the Gaza Strip, according to Israeli authorities. The book, found among the belongings of one of the terrorists, included annotations and highlights. The IDF stated that this finding suggests Hamas embraces Hitler's ideology. The discovery occurred amid heightened conflict between Israeli military forces and Hamas in Gaza, following a sneak attack on October 7th that resulted in casualties. Thousands. The conflict has also led to protests and clashes at various locations, including U.S. college campuses, which are probably the exact same place that are having a fit that other books are not necessarily wanted in elementary school libraries. So that's the story there. Trying to I don't know this Hitler for Kids book here. I don't know. Can we laugh at that? I don't know. I don't know. I might go so far as to say that perhaps this book this book here is probably more appropriate than a lot of the books that you find in American elementary school libraries. That's but and I don't know that you can really draw a whole lot of conclusions from this. Kind of looks like propaganda to me, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if anything were popular in Gaza. You know, if you were to tell me that I don't know, the Macarena was still a hit song in Gaza, I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe. I don't know. Nothing shocking anymore, is it? Are we really that shocked that there was like a Mein Kampf for kids? I don't know. You got to laugh at this stuff, otherwise you're going to cry. So I prefer to laugh. And I don't know. I'll just right. I don't know. I'm just laughing here. I'm just laughing here. I don't know. Would it be possible? I mean, this is a troll. I'm trolling now. I don't believe this, right? But maybe 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 someone should make a mind comp for kiddos. You know, like an Adolf's first coloring book or something, and see if you could get it into American schools. Because apparently right now there doesn't seem to be any standards whatsoever as what's acceptable. You know, if you've seen, you know, a lot of this stuff that parents have been protesting, it's pretty graphic and disgusting. And I don't think I would want it. I don't think I'd be comfortable with it being at like an elementary school library or an elementary school classroom. So in the same regards, you know, what's the limit? Could we have a Mein Kampf for kiddos? I don't know. This should be a Saturday Night Live sketch. This should not be a news story. This should be a Saturday Night Live sketch. Anyway, speaking of American schools, I got some more for you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, so New York is rethinking high school graduation exams, huh? Well, they're like, hey, let's make it optional because apparently stressing out teenagers with Regents exams is so last season. We're going for a more relaxed, stress-free approach, like yoga for diplomas. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. Envision yourself accepting that diploma without any math-induced trauma. Namaste, New York. So, New York is contemplating significant changes to its high school graduation system, including the potential elimination of Regents exams. The state's Education Department Advisory Group may recommend alternative methods for students to showcase mastery, diverging from traditional high-stakes exit exams. The reconsideration arises from concerns about the negative impact of such exams, particularly on disadvantaged students. New York's shift aligns with a broader nationwide trend questioning the efficacy of statewide testing. Other proposed changes include a new credit requirement, a move toward a single diploma system with optional distinctions, consideration for distinct diploma requirements for students with unique needs, such as migrants. The debate has gained momentum, notably during the pandemic, triggering a reassessment of high school education. Similar discussions occurred in Oregon, where a decision allowing students not to demonstrate proficiency in reading, writing, or math for graduation sparked debate about the value of a diploma. And I agree. I don't know how this serves anyone. These tests are a joke, and in fact, I'm going to see if I can get a hold of one of the tests, and I might do it on a late night show. We might just roll through some of the questions. So I'll see if I can get a hold of one of these tests, because what's the point of a diploma? If all a diploma is I don't know, the kid was registered at this school, you know? Like, because if you don't have to pass any kind of proficiency exam and you put the pressure on the teachers to pass everybody, then what does high school graduation even mean? It doesn't even mean anything. If everyone gets it, it has no value at all. And that's doing a real disservice to all the kids that go to school and learn and want to show that they're proficient, showed that they've worked hard, showed that they've learned things. You're taking that away from all the kids in, I don't know, for equity's sake or something. It's really sad. It's really sad. Now, I have a bit of experience with this. I taught school. And 1 year, the kids were required to take the state test. And, how can I phrase this? There were a lot of shenanigans that went on at the school that I worked at, and I was not involved in the shenanigans at all. Even though all the other teachers insisted that I did, I chose not to. And my class scored in the first percentile in the state. No. The other first percentile. The worst percentile. And because of that, then the school had to get put on notice for having a teacher so terrible as to have someone score in the first percentile. And I learned firsthand that there's a lot of a lot of chicanery that happens in public education. Anyway, because of that, I got moved to a different grade level that did not require the state test. Because of my insistence on, doing it accurately. So, so even in this case where I'm saying that, yeah, a lot of people cheated on these tests, doing away with them doesn't do anyone any good either. Yeah. People should have the option of proving that they have learned something in their public education, in their government school. The government school should be able to produce that kids have actually learned how to read. Yeah. Anyway, we need some good news after all this cynicism, so let's get to the good news of the day. Hey, did you hear about India setting a Guinness World Record for lighting over 2.2 million earthen oil amps during Diwali? It's like they're competing for the most ambitious mood lighting award. Yeah, so millions of Indians celebrated Diwali, and I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. I can't. Let me make sure I'm saying that right, because I don't want to misinform my audience on this. Diwali. Diwali. Okay. So it's the Hindu Festival of Light. Record-breaking display of over 2 million earthen oil amps at the Saryu River in Ayodhya, Uttar Pradesh. The event symbolizes the triumph of light over darkness, and it set a Guinness World Record. Concerns about air pollution in India were highlighted due to hazardous air quality index, but unexpected rains and winds improved conditions temporarily. Some may say it's a miracle. Diwali festivals include socializing, gift exchanges, lighting lamps, and fireworks. Authorities took measures to address pollution, such as banning certain activities in New Delhi and promoting green crackers. Despite concerns, the festival marked the upcoming inauguration of a long-awaited temple at the site of the demolished Babri Mosque, a controversial event in India's history. So that is some good news. It's another festival of lights. And there's lots of festival of lights. I think back to Don't most religions have some kind of festival of lights? It seems like it's a traditional thing, and that's nice. And I think that's something we can all come together about is festival of lights. So, and if you like festivals of lights, because who doesn't like festival of lights? You can do me a favor. Hit that like button. I appreciate those people that like the stream. And, you know, we got to do something. If you like this show, please share it with someone. Something's got to happen, right? Something's got to happen. Because it's hard putting all this together for a dozen people, you know, every day. So if you can share it, maybe this channel can grow. I'd really appreciate it. But, yeah, I don't know much about Diwali. I got to be honest. I wasn't even sure how to say it, right, when the show started. But I like the idea. And when you look at pictures of it online, boy, does it look, I mean, unbelievable. All the bright colors and everything. It looks like a really fun celebration. So I hope to learn a little bit more about that festival. I should know more about it. I really should. I have no excuse, but I think I want to do a little bit of reading about it and maybe share that with some other people because I think it's a kind of cool thing. Anyway, yeah. So it's the Festival of Lights, and I'm gonna take a little joke here from Lucid, but let's make this a festival of likes. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, thanks for stick around for the after show. I'm going to be going through all your comments, chatting about some of these stories in a little more depth. But if you're around tonight at 9 p.m. on the West Coast, midnight on the East Coast, I got my late night show, Midnight Americano. So we're doing a stream. Stop by, join in the fun. It's a little less political, but it's a good hang, so maybe I'll see you there. If not, I will be back tomorrow, noon on the West Coast, 3 on the East, right here for another episode of Coffee and Nuance. Hope you all have a beautiful day. Until then, peace. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, y'all. Appreciate you. Let's check out what's going on in the chat. Hashtag RumbleGang. I did tweet hashtag RumbleGang with the video today. So if you're on the X, do me a favor and go like that. I like that hashtag. Hashtag RumbleGang. What's up? What's up, Ox? Good to see you. And don't forget to like the stream. Exactly. Lots of people checking in at the beginning. We got all the fun emojis. So Natasha says, so maybe you need to invite someone important to Portland. Important to Portland, Tom. Maybe that goofball Trudeau could inspire a quick tidy up. Nothing's going to tidy up this town. You know, it's all by design. It's all by design, and it's rather sickening. And it's like you can see that this is on purpose, but most people do not have the creativity to understand what's going on. You know, their life is full. They got their job, they got their family, they got traffic, they got chores, they got, you know, errands. They got their own social life. The last thing they want to think about is local politics and figuring it out. Or national politics, for that matter, you know? Like, who's got time for that nonsense? And so if you try to inform somebody about any of this, or if you have theories on it, you just sound like a nut. And that's what the local leadership counts on. you speculate at all, and they just write you off as some conspiracy nut. But we, and it's interesting, we had here in Portland, we legalized, in Oregon, they legalized all drugs. And then the city just went to garbage, became a magnet for addicts from all over the country. Because it's like, yeah, you're an addict and you're like, oh, I can just go to Portland and there are organizations that will give me tents. Yeah. All the tents you see in the city, they didn't buy those tents. Those were given out. We gave out, the local Portland city government gave out millions of dollars of tents to people on the street. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw a lot of tents that were more expensive than the tent that I have. I'm like, wow, REI, all great. Lots of great, expensive camping equipment. And I'm, originally you think, well, maybe they stole it. No. This is all part of the homeless industrial complex that we have here. And if you have any thoughts on it, you're just a hater and you're just a conspiracy nut. That's kind of how it goes. Yeah, so they decided that, Portugal had a thing with decriminalizing drugs. So all kinds of city officials got a nice all-expense paid trip to Portugal so they could go over there and talk about the issues that Portugal had when they legalized or decriminalized drugs, and how they might be able to help here in Portland. So they do this, and then they all get, European vacations out of it. By design. Anyway, no worries. I got a thumb drive if anyone needs it. Okay, not sure what that is. Tim Scott, there goes our diversity clause. No, we got, there's still plenty of diversity in the Republican primary. Nikki Haley is, right? She's half Indian, I believe. Which is technically Asian, right? And Ramaswamy. So yeah, still plenty of diversity in the Republican primary. Those dumb dad jokes almost write themselves sometimes. Yeah. Half the jokes I come up with are just obvious. Like, they're just obvious things. And if you work on writing silly jokes like this, you can just kind of read the headline and you can kind of guess what the obvious joke is for it. In fact, if you it was interesting, back when I would watch late night comedy talk shows, sometimes different people, they would have the same joke about the same subject on the same night. Jay Leno might have done a joke and then Conan might have done the same joke, or very, very similar jokes. But that's because a lot of these jokes are obvious, right? They're not really that original. And dad jokes, by definition, are just kind of general, silly, dumb jokes. So there's not a whole lot of originality to it, but it is kind of fun. And if you work on it, you just get better at it. And then, you can sit around making dumb dad jokes all the time. You can be the Chandler Bing in your in your friend group. Yeah. So let's see. Found Hitler's book and wished to emulate his teachings. What about the blonde hair eye part? This seems invented. Yeah, I don't know what you can really take from finding a you know, a kid's Hitler book. I'm sure it exists, you know. In many ways, and I don't even know because they didn't show pages of the book, you know. What was it? Was it a picture book? Was it, you know, we don't even know. They just showed the cover of it. So, you know, who knows? I think if it were a picture book with, like, you know, that might be kind of funny just to see what was said. But I don't know that you can really draw any conclusions from it. If you're not a dad, but you're telling dad jokes, you should at least change some poopy diapers to earn the right to tell dad jokes. Well, I don't know. Maybe instead of dad jokes, how about just bad jokes, right? I'm telling bad jokes. A scratch and sniff Mein Kampf for kids. What the world is yearning for. Oh man, I don't know. Do you think? Now I'm sure. Now it's interesting because I you know, in preparing this, I looked up, like, oh, do they even sell Mein Kampf like on Amazon or whatever? And for a while they took it away, and then they said, well, under free speech, we should have it on Amazon or whatever. But for a while you could only get it at, like, Barnes and Noble, according to some stories I was reading about this last night. But would Amazon even let you sell, you know, Hitler for kids, or like the Adventures of Little Adolf or something? I don't think it's what the world needs at all. But just as a thought experiment, it just kind of makes me laugh. Was that an Onion story? No, it wasn't an Onion story, but it could have been. It definitely seems like it was a made-up, exaggerated story. Stop tests that prove incompetence. It hurts their feelings. Tom, you're so insensitive. I know. You know, and I got to be honest, I don't know what the current tests are like. I can't imagine that they're harder than when I was in school. But I remember at my school, we had to take it in, like, I think our senior English class, we had to take the test. And I didn't take a senior English class. I took alternative. I took, like, Latin and Greek. And so I had to schedule, I had to go in at a special time to take this test for the New Mexico Regents or whatever, you know, for the, I think what it was the seal on the diploma. You could get the diploma, but if you wanted the little gold seal on the diploma, you had to take this test, or at least that's what they told me then. So I remember having to go in at, like, an off time that I could take this test. And I'm taking it, and I was just kind of laughing to myself at just how, I don't know, 6th grade the test was. It was an absolute joke. It was an absolute joke. That was in New Mexico. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the country. So I am drawing conclusions based on my own experience, you know, many decades ago, as to what the state test is like. You know, perhaps the New York Regents test is really hard. I don't know. But I will do some searching and see if I can get a copy of it, because that would be kind of funny. So Portland isn't the new Amsterdam? Nope, not at all. Not at all. I tried to tell you about it before the comments was removed. To tell me about something before. Okay. Erie Fairy says, I'd love to share, but my Discord account got nuked because I was a mod of a targeted server for a censored political show. Okay. Elon also destroyed my my Twitter back when he took over, lost all my followers. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I know that actually someone that I follow on Twitter lost their account over the weekend, but got it back today. So if you still have the login for that old account, you may try it to see perhaps it's been reinstated. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. And frankly, on Twitter/X, I tweet out. I sometimes reply to people, and I sometimes will like things, and then I tweet out the videos that I'm doing, the live streams that I'm doing. But other than that, I don't use it that much. Or I'm not posting a lot of stuff, and so I'm not worried about being thrown off because I'm just not really saying much. You know, and if you don't say anything, you don't really have to worry about much. Hey, just a little thing on the side. I was going to do a story on this, but I didn't. But I'll just tell you for the people that are still here. Google will be deleting accounts starting the beginning of December. So if you have an old account that you haven't logged into for a while, maybe you have an account for, you know, a business you were going to start or something like that. Maybe an alternative account, and maybe you haven't logged into it in a while. Be sure to go and log in to it and use it once or something now, because they're going to go through and delete inactive accounts starting the 1st of next month. And, you know, we're going to turn around and it's going to be here. You know, the 1st of next month is going to be here like that. So if you have an account and you haven't logged into it for a while and there's things on it that you want, you might go, you know, download them now, log in, etc. Because some people might have a lot of things on their Google Photos or their Google Drive or something like that, but they just haven't logged in all year. Well, you're going to want to do that to make sure that it's not deleted. So that's a little reminder for everyone there. I do, but it's a shadow account. I get access to, they even changed my handle. I did see my actual account, though. I could follow it, but I can't log into it. They only let me in to the dumb one. Well, you could try getting into the old one. I don't know what to tell you there. But perhaps what I'm saying is things have changed over the past year at Twitter. And just because something was like something, just because it was one way a year ago doesn't mean it's that way now. So you might just check it out. I only ever use Twitter for sharing live streams. Well, that's kind of what I use Twitter for, right? Just sharing streams. And also it's been helpful for me for contacts. So as many of you know, I'm doing the 2 shows a day because Rumble asked me as a small creator to do that. And, you know, I found that through X. You know, there was a tweet and it said, "Hey, are you interested in this?" And I clicked on it and I said, "Hey, I'm interested," you know. So Twitter/X has given me some opportunities. I don't really use it probably the way most people do. I have a hard time following it. And I have it on my phone, and I you know, it's like you miss something and then you can't find it. I don't know. It's like the whole thing has been invented for people with like ADHD or something. Because, I don't know. It's hard to use for me, but whatever. Is what it is. Anyway, let's see what else is happening. Oh, these are, looks like we got most of the comments today. That's good. Well, let me tell you about what I'm planning on doing tonight. You know, tonight is, let's see how, I'm going to have to remember this. I'll try it one more time. Diwali. So it is Diwali. And so my thumbnail is for Diwali for tonight's show. And we'll probably have a top 12 list around Diwali, perhaps. and then I'll I'll write some kind of obvious jokes about the news stories of the day. A lot of the news today is so much is going on with Israel Gaza situation, and I don't know. I don't think it's really appropriate to make jokes about that kind of stuff. Often. And a lot of those stories, I feel like a lot of those stories, I'm not really getting the truth from either side. It's all kind of fog of war stuff, much like around the Russia-Ukraine situation. Like when that started off, it was really hard to really know what was true, what wasn't true. And the last thing I want to do is to promote propaganda, misinformation, things that haven't been vetted, things that haven't been verified. I'm trying not to do that, although I probably do sometimes. But that's never my intention, I'm trying to keep things honest. Okay, please look for my comment about Portland and cast iron storefronts. You skipped it. I really want to see that video. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for this comment. Cast iron storefronts. I'm not seeing that comment, Natasha. Like, and I'm scrolling here. I don't see it. I see you got the blue N on the side. I'm not seeing it, so perhaps it was removed. I don't know. Okay. Well, I mean, I will look for it in the future. Cast iron storefronts. I really want you to see that video. Okay, well, I can search for that and check that video out. If there is a video about cast iron storefronts, I'll give that a look. I'll give that a look. That's for sure. So, also, I was thinking what we could talk about tonight. And go through some other games that I've been coming up with, some other hypothetical situations, and whatnot. Those are always good. There was some news on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, I guess, and finally, now they've got some sketchy Ukrainian guy who's in prison now that they're trying to pin the Nord Stream 2 pipeline on. I think that's very convenient, right? It's very convenient. First we heard that it was Russia, right? Russia blew up their own pipeline. Then Cy Hirsch came out with all of this information about how it was led by Americans. They rented a yacht, I guess, and there were some specialized divers that were involved in it. But now they're pinning it on this guy some corrupt Ukrainian guy who's already been let go from his post. So therefore, Ukraine's not really responsible. America's not really responsible. To me, it seems like another story that's hard to believe. This is published in the Washington Post, so there's your tip-off right there. It was interesting. I was watching The Hill, right? Robbie and Joy talk about it, and it was interesting because when they and I don't know if you watch Rising on The Hill, if you've seen that. They have million subscribers, so I'm sure you've seen the program. And typically, I think that Robbie does an okay job. And Brianna somehow is able to be wrong every single day, you know, but she looks nice. But in this case, Robbie was talking about the Nord Stream situation, and he totally got the story wrong, and I think was mischaracterized what Seymour Hersh said about it. Robbie said that they were like Navy SEALs that did it, and I don't think that the claim ever was that they were Navy SEALs, just that they were highly trained. And I think that Cy Hersh actually made a point to say that they were not U.S. Navy SEALs. And here's a guy who's doing a news show for millions of people and, you know, gets tens of thousands of views on every single video that they put out, maybe 100,000 views on every video that they put out. And he was just dead wrong on it. And I don't know. No accountability whatsoever. You can just talk out your ass and, you know, whatever, no consequences. But I wouldn't expect anything else, because that's what it's like on, you know, all the government, I mean, corporate media. You know, they all kind of do that. John Levi channel. Okay, John Levi does great work. Well, I will look at John Levi. Thank you for the thanks for the suggestion there. I always like suggestions. I always like hearing about, you know, who's good and what's going on. I do try to check those things out. You know, a lot of times, whoever we like, we may like for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes there are people that they might do a really good job, but maybe their voice is bothersome. And you're just like, I don't like that guy's voice. Or they have a verbal tick that is annoying. For example, speaking of The Rising, Brianna Joy Gray, she does the smack every time she starts a sentence. Right before she talks, she does one of those smacky things that it just drives me nuts. I have a hard time watching the show because she does that all the time. And you would think someone that popular would get a little feedback and would be told, hey, can you work on this? Try not to do that. But no, she just continues to, you know, make weird noises with her mouth every time she speaks. It's really bad. But no, I'll check out John Levi. That's cool. I guess Roseanne Barr has a new show, killing it in the Views time slot. I didn't know that she has a new show. I know she has a podcast. And I think that she's a lot of fun on her podcast. Obviously, this is not someone who... I like Roseanne, and she's fun, and she's funny. I don't think that she reads a whole lot, and I don't think that you should really count on anything that she's... I would take anything that she says with a grain of salt, and you might do a little fact check on it, but she's definitely fun, and she's funny. So there's that. The power of editing, LOL. Yeah, that's the thing, is when they do these live shows and people, you know, do that, I have worked really hard to make sure that I don't all the time. And I've worked at that. And I'm just doing this for, you know, not many people. And I'm sure that I have some verbal tics and expressions, all right, that I use. But I try to get better. And it's amazing to me, these people that have millions of subscribers, and they don't even try to get better. And it's as if they're saying, and I kind of get it in one way, it's like, wow, why should I get better? I'm already a success doing what I'm doing. Really? think of how much better you'd be doing if you could work on your speech, work on your communication style, etc. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. So anyway, that's all I have. That's all I have for today. But I hope to see you all tonight, 9 p.m. on the West Coast, 12 a.m., midnight on the East for Midnight Americano. I'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, peace.